Hello, 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 welcome back to Sidequest Gaming, where we take a look at old games and new to try and uncover some of those little hidden gems you might want to give a shot and try out for yourself. Today we're going to actually dive back into quite an old game, and we're going to take a bit of a look at the original Dawn of War, which was a fantastic entry to the real-time strategy genre and really helped to kind of bring the Warhammer 40k experience to the video game world. Now, one thing to note right off the bat before we dive in is that this is quite an old game, and even with the Game of the Year edition that's on Steam at the moment, you can have a few little janky things that you can experience. One of the main ones that you can come across is that the font sizes are way out of whack with modern resolutions and modern monitors. What will happen is that when you load up the game, all the font sizes will be incredibly tiny. If you are experienced in this, I've created a bit of a file you can download that'll be in the link below. If you follow the instructions in there and just copy paste it into the right spot in your Dawn of War folder, it should change the default sizes of all the fonts. Essentially, I just rewrote a bunch of the font files and have put them in a folder. And they're just done in Notepad. You can change, if you open each of the files manually, you can change the font size, the default font sizes. I've put 80 as the default, but I'm on quite a big monitor. Also worth noting is that you cannot get the widescreen resolution natively in this game. Unfortunately, there are mods out there to fix that, but I couldn't find just a simple way of editing things myself to do it, so I'm just playing it on the regular size that it's meant to be. Before we dive into the campaign, I want to just quickly show the army editor, because I always found this heaps of fun when I was a kid, and I think it just harkens back to that kind of tabletop gaming element of painting your own miniatures and really creating your own like chapters of 40k and kind of really invoking that development of your own like look and feel for the warriors. And I think it's a really cool element to include in a game like this, and I think it's just it's really worth acknowledging, because I love that, and I just remember spending a whole lot of time with it as a kid, and you know, creating my own chapter in their own history and kind of sitting in that mythos a bit. Purple for sure, and we'll go black and purple for the most part, and we're not going to have we'll go just normal kind of 40k, whatever, that'll do. Save scheme. Anyone who saw me save that as Blood Angels is probably having a fit right now, but whatever. Let's dive into the first mission.
In the name of the Emperor, you will not falter! We can't hold! Run for your lives! Cowards! You will fight, or you will die.
I am Captain Gabriel Angelos of the Blood Ravens 3rd Company. Status.
My lord, forgive me. We have done all we can to stop the orcs, but we have failed. My men's lives are yours.
You stood your ground in the face of the Emperor's foes. You've done your duty. If your men have failed you, I will leave their judgment in your hands.
Thank you, my lord.
I am not here for your thanks. This port must be held if we are to maintain troops and supply lines to the planet's surface. That is why we are here. Now, what of the wounded and the civilians?
Stranded. We have few ships.
Then you shall have more. All Bloodraven flights execute Protocol 23 and initiate civilian evacuation. We will dispatch the ground forces.
Yes, my lord.
Ground forces, my lord. But the orcs have retreated.
You must know your enemy to defeat them, Colonel. Orcs only retreat to regroup. They will keep coming until you or they are dead.
The voice acting is fantastic in this game. It really helps to invoke a gravitas.
Brothers, let us destroy this alien filth.
To victory! Worth noting, the Dawn of War franchise really kind of pioneered the squad-based RTS. The Relic then moved on with things like Company of Heroes, and it is a really quite cool and unique style of gameplay. Where down here we can.
Stronghold, our frontline battle headquarters is currently being assembled. We should proceed with caution until it is finished.
So as I was saying, we've got our stronghold getting developed there, but we've got our 2 Space Marine companies now. We can add more squad members and sergeants and things like that.
Today, the enemy shall. The stronghold is complete. We must now set about establishing a proper frontline base.
And we can attach and detach commanders to squads. So right there, we've now placed our Captain Angelos as the commander of this little squad. And it's a really cool way to approach the development of an RTS. We're going to build a chapel barracks.
That will allow us to call down more Space Marine squads. This day shall be
the way that this process has been developed is very in line with the tabletop game. It's where it's inspired. We can add different weapons to our squads, and so we can set them out with flamers, with plasma guns, based on what need we have and what enemies we're facing, like giving them a bunch of heavy bolters or missile launchers, depending on what we're facing.
Now you can build some more Space Marine squads. The Emperor protects.
Let's put these on a command group. Let's see what we can move out and go see. Resources in this game are collected by capturing points of interest or strategic points, and they tick up this top left-hand corner.
Start capturing strategic points. These 3 closest strategic points will do for now. Let us capture them first, and then move on to the others. If we are to defeat these orcs, we will need to call in some special weapons. We must build an armory to get access to them.
I await your instructions.
So the more strategic points we have capped, the more resources we are able to collect. The faster our resources go up. Now, as we're collecting this listening post, we are not able to fight, so we need to go in and defend it. We're just kind of hunkered down, copping it from these greenskins. And we've lost a squad member, so we can spend some resources to reinforce our squad over here. Now, if we look down, we've got our little 2 squads here.
The armory is operational. The Space Marine squads can now upgrade their standard bolters to flamers and heavy bolters.
So our squads that we're getting come in groups of 4, so we can reinforce them by spending resources to increase the cap size, and we're going to be able to upgrade our squads with various weapons now that we've done that. So let's get our main one there with some bolters.
Building a plasma generator will supply us with the power we need to keep our force going.
We need some more resources to get some power.
Yes, Lord.
One thing you may note that I have not managed to fix with our little font fix is that the build costs don't appear properly,
and building
which are down
listening
here.
posts on them earns us more requisition resource, which we can use when we build squads and equipment.
None shall stop us.
So what that's saying is each of these points that we cap, we can then build a listening post on, like that, which increases the amount of resources that we get from the strategic point. It also provides kind of like a passive defense. It's got a little machine gun on it.
Now that the strategic point is ours, we must take steps to ensure that it stays ours. Get the servitor to build a listening post on the point to defend it.
Okay, decimated those greenskins.
Yes, most
Get another
beneficent
listening
one.
post down here.
Initializing build protocol. Yes, Lord. As you wish.
Excellent. The point is now protected from an orc retaliation. We should continue to build listening posts on all our captured points.
Get a couple of flamers in the squad. Worth noting in this game that there's two main resources, which are
It is
power
time to
and
hunt down
requisition.
the source of these orcs. They must have a base somewhere within the walls of this Imperial facility.
Build routine 721
Today, the enemy shall know
initiated.
fear.
But also worth noting is that different races in this game really use resources in different ways. For example, the Necrons primarily focus on power as their resource. So they've done quite a good job in this strategy of creating real asymmetry in terms of how each race or race plays, which was really enjoyable, particularly multiplayer, and quite unique in that there's a lot of asymmetry in this game. In the map design, in the unit design, in the race design. So it's not as simple as just every race has the same unit that fills the same space.
An orc camp. And look there, a break in the spaceport's defensive wall. They must have blasted their way in. We must destroy this orc camp and any others these foul creatures may have constructed. Plasma generators will continue to produce power at a constant rate, but there is a limit of how many plasma generators can be built per stronghold.
For example, the orcs have to increase their war, which they do by creating a whole lot of war posts, and that increases their pop
This
cap.
orc camp has been
Brave in the
destroyed.
name of the Emperor. Charge. Onward.
We'll leave
to victory.
one squad here.
Beware the Alien, the mutant. This day shall be a
Flame is
glorious one
deployed.
for the Imperium.
We should get a few more Space Marine squads back at base. We
Those
are
Imperial
full on pop
guardsmen
cap.
look like they could use some assistance. Come, brothers, make haste. Our prayers have been answered. Here come the Space Marines.
I accidentally
This day shall be a
stopped
glorious one.
capping that point.
Praise the Emperor.
Yes, my lord. Attacking.
How about our brother guardsmen?
Maintain attack your orders.
We are the Imperial Guard. It is time we started acting like it.
We are the Emperor's chosen.
So our allies are
Understood.
able to
Stay
chill out
vigilant,
there.
brothers.
Head up this way. Is there anything we can get from the armory? We can increase our heavy weapon cap.
Position secure. The enemy is
Get a
attacking.
couple more power plants.
The Emperor protects.
Initiating attack protocol 23.
If we cap that point, we have.
We are the enemies of the Emperor.
Get Gabriel Angelus back into the fight.
Fear denied strength.
The graphics were fantastic for the time. Found them really enjoyable. They are still serviceable, but serviceable is about as far as you go in terms of particle effects and things like that at this point. Let's throw in a flamer to the crew, and another heavy bolter probably, and another flamer.
Walk softly. Carry a big gun.
And we're going to push up this direction.
Attacking as ordered. For the glory of the Imperium.
Charge through here. Now, one thing that does become a bit of a frustration in this series is the caps on both units and heavy armor or tanks and things like that. But there are a lot of mods that take that away, but it does help keep the game in balance. So it's more about the tug and war of point control, resource control, and having the right units for the right task, as opposed to simply trying to get armies of never-ending amounts of units. Get a couple more heavy bolters there. A couple more here. I think we might just deck them out really on the big, massive machine guns. You can see these are our heavy bolters. I do love how the units change to equip whatever heavy armaments you've kind of equipped, set them out with.
Engaging the enemy. Awaiting orders. Awaiting orders. What's your order? Prevent us to the enemy.
I probably should
While the
have
enemies of the
tried
Emperor still
to
draw breath,
specify one set of units just with flamers or something like that. That would have been quite strategic, but I did not do that.
Ever vigilant.
Let's grab this squad to go cap that point. They're just laying down massive amounts of heavy bolter fire on these little war towers. Capping the point over here.
beware the alien, the mutant, the heretic.
Charge.
And let's go get that point up there too. They do have a setup time for these heavy bolters, which is quite cool. So you don't, you can't just kind of run them around. You kind of lose a bit of your mobility to equip that way, but
The Emperor protects.
it does work really well as a mechanic.
Onward to glory.
Later, other races like the Imperial Guardsmen, their heavy weapons teams you have to actually deploy.
Excellent.
Secure.
This orc camp has been destroyed.
What's your order?
Deploy in the location that you want them to
We
be
are
shooting.
the Emperor's chosen.
Once again, lots of the mechanics in the later games like Company Heroes have really come from this early Dawn of War franchise. And it did take a bit to get used to playing this game when you come from things like Age of Empires and StarCraft, where you're used to resource collection as opposed to just holding strategic points. It does create a lot more of a forward momentum that you need to maintain. You need to be capping points, pushing forward at all times to have the resources to continue to engage the enemy.
Regroup!
Okay,
Stay vigilant.
save those guardsmen. What did
Weapons
we
at
have
ready.
to do
It is time.
now?
Beware the alien, the mutant, the heretic.
Oh, there's that one last point up here. Let's charge on up.
What would you have me do?
Our guys
Today
kind of
the
stuck a
enemy
bit
shall know
behind.
fear.
And let's head on. Whoop.
Understood. Orders
Just
received.
dive right into the fray.
Moving out. None shall stop us.
There we go.
Maintain attack formation.
Charge!
It is time. Orders received, brother. Orders received, brother. Moving out. Taking damage. Moving out. Understood.
Let's get right in the fray. And we're just going to set up shop right here. Heavy bolters deployed and unleash hell. We've lost a dude there. Let's reinforce and get another flamer in. But we're not taking much loss at all.
Walk softly.
And there we go. First mission almost complete. Take out the HQ. Take out the boys' hut. And one of their thermal generators.
On alert, brothers. The enemy must be nearby.
Success. Alright. Mission 1 down.
That's the last of them. Well done, Blood Ravens. Victory is ours.
I am honored to be in the presence of a librarian. I wish to know how my men can better serve you. We shall wait for the captain to finish his prayers. I saw you stand against the orcs. You are a brave man, Colonel. I wish I could say the same of your men. I shall strengthen their resolve, my lord. See that you do, or we shall do it for you. You have something you wish to say. Say it, Colonel. How did you know? Even without my psychic gifts, it is obvious. Speak. Is it true your company eradicated a heresy on the planet of Cyrene recently? An exterminatus, down to the planet's last man, woman and child? Colonel, your company is welcome, but such questions are not. Do not ask the captain about Cyrene if you intend to remain in his good graces. Brother Captain, the Colonel wishes an audience with you.
Thank you, Isidore.
My lord, my Tartarus 37th Imperial Guard Regiment stand ready to serve you in protecting the city. They wish to make amends for...
They will have many opportunities to prove themselves warriors worthy of the Emperor. The Blood Ravens are leaving the city. Its protection is in your hands.
I will ready my men. May I ask what your next course of action is?
Orcs only respect strength. I intend to show them that we have it in ample supply.
Mission success.
Excellent. This orc camp has been destroyed.
Okay. Proceed to the next.
War Journal of Captain Gabriel Angelos. The situation on the planet Tartarus is grim. While the Blood Ravens crushed the main orc offensive at the spaceport, the bulk of their force is not engaged. They gather in the wilderness, awaiting a critical mass of bodies that will overwhelm the Imperial forces in a green wave of death and destruction. The Blood Ravens will not allow this to occur. Orbital monitoring has detected an area in the southern forests where the orcs appear to be massing. Orcs only respect strength, so they will look to the largest of their groups to lead them. We will insert a small, covert strike force to eliminate these orc leaders and destroy any encampments where the orcs might mass. This should cut to the heart of the orcs' fighting spirit and delay their inevitable counterattack. We must tread lightly, lest we disturb this slumbering beast.
Infiltration.
You have your orders. Now go. And may the Emperor protect you.
I do not care for all this sneaking about.
I know, old friend. You always have preferred the direct approach.
We have the Imperial Guard. Why not send them into battle instead of treating them like glorified shepherds? If we meet the orcs in force, they cannot possibly stand before us.
We have fought the orc 100 times before. They thrive on war. A direct assault on them would likely improve their morale, and simply attract more of them. The casualties would be enormous.
What are the Imperial Guard for if not to die for their Emperor? At the very least, we should retain a regiment to remain at our call. We have little support this far out. We would not want to be remembered for our carelessness.
We, old friend? Or me?
We are brothers, Gabriel. You know better than to ask that question. I know what this is about. There was nothing you could have done to save Cyrene.
Do not mention that place again, Isidore. Cyrene was my homeworld. My responsibility. Scout Team 3, do you copy?
Yes, my lord.
The local Imperial waterworks has fallen into orc hands. If we are to reclaim this area, we must first retake this position. Scouts have infiltrated ahead of you and will assist you in your reconnaissance. If things prove to be more than you can handle, reinforcements will be mobilized to assist.
Getting into position. Commencing infiltration. This area is crawling with orcs. We should infiltrate to sneak past them. Do not get too close, or we may be spotted. Yes, my lord.
Alright, so we got a scout company. Let's increase them first up. Oh, that was not good. Straight into combat with them. Probably not the best for us, actually. I was supposed to try and sneak around them. And these are not the strongest. They're not regular Space Marines, so
Scouts here.
Got a weird little animation glitch happening there with their melee combat, but I think we're going to get through them. Fun little bit of tidbit or lore about our green skin brothers here is that, if I am right, I believe they're actually a plant. The species is like a fungus that grows, if I am correct.
Search commencing. I sense danger. We will
The
root it out.
Gretchens, the little builders, green skin.
Gathering intelligence.
I'm really not doing a good job of sneaking. Am I going the wrong way?
Getting into position.
I can't go through the water, can I?
Getting into position.
Feels
Yes,
like
my
I'm
lord.
going the wrong way.
Yes,
No,
my lord.
we're just doing a very loud
Getting into
infiltration.
The enemy is in our sights.
Sure. We have
The enemy is
no
attacking.
income at the moment, so we have a very
Move
high
ahead.
chance we're going to
Unlock
just
any
lose a
enemy
bunch of our
positions.
dudes. Got another one coming in for reinforcements.
Scouts awaiting
Okay.
orders. Commencing infiltration. Gathering intelligence.
Oh, I'm an idiot. No wonder it seems so strange. Let's enable
Your
infiltration.
Scout Marine Squad is now invisible to all enemies
Search
except for
commencing.
commanders. Keep in mind,
sense
though,
danger.
if you are
We will root
attacked,
it out.
your invisibility will be
On
broken,
patrol.
and some time will pass before you can utilize
Scouts
it again.
advance. Yes, my
Would have
lord.
made sense if I did that earlier. Whoops.
Scouts here. Scouts advance. Scouts in
The
position.
wretched
At your
Xenos are
command.
guarding a strategic point. Scout Team 2 is upgraded with sniper rifles.
Scouts ready.
They will make short work of these orcs.
At your
Alright.
command. Scouts
Can I
ready.
infiltrate these guys as well? Let's do it.
Yes, my lord.
And we've got them.
We'll
Our
move ahead.
sniper
Unlock
rifles
any
ready to
enemy
go.
positions.
Let's take them out.
Scouts here.
Unfortunately, they capped the point, but we can uncap it.
Taking hits.
Scouts ready.
And let's
Lining
get
up
in
our
there.
targets.
Hopefully
Scouts
not
ready.
lose anyone in the process.
At your command.
Alright.
Infiltrating enemy scouts awaiting orders.
Let's cap a point so we get some actual resources.
Gathering intelligence. On patrol. On patrol.
Can't believe I did that.
There is an orc patrol. Mark any enemy positions before we attempt to sneak by. On patrol.
Can we cap this point? Let's...
Gathering
Oh, no,
intelligence.
that was a bad idea.
Gathering intelligence.
That was a
Commencing infiltration.
turret right there. Back to
Yes, my
infiltrate.
lord. Scouts advance.
Let's just wait till we get to
Commencing
this point,
infiltration.
so that means we'll actually be able to
Commencing infiltration.
reinforce our dudes if they die, because we'll have a passive income. Assuming they don't recap it on us.
Scouts ready. Objective. Yes, my lord.
Okay.
Scouts ready. Gathering
Sneaky
intelligence.
boys deployed.
Scouts
So,
advance.
I mean,
Yes,
in
my
theory,
lord.
if we're
On patrol.
quick, we should be able to just
We will move
scoot
ahead
down here
and mark any
before
enemy
they move
positions.
further down.
Yes, my lord. Getting into position. Gathering intelligence.
Scoot round to the left here. They can't see
I
us because they
sense
don't have a
danger.
commander.
We will root it out.
And let's continue up here.
Commencing infiltration. There's our target. Getting into position. A large orc knob who looks like he's in charge of this bunch. Enemy positions. If we kill him, we'll severely weaken the orc morale. Scouts advance.
Okay, let's get the knob. Got him.
Command in the name of Nod is dead. We will take it from here.
Infiltration.
Okay,
Lining up our targets. On patrol.
Astartes
Emperor
deployed.
protects. Space Marines, advance!
Scouts in position. Scouts advance.
There we go. Angelos at the front, snipers at the back,
There can be no peace. By my command.
and in we go, charge. Now we want to remember there was actually a listening post or a strategic point earlier that we walked past, because we probably want that from a resource perspective.
He who stands with me shall be my brother. My faith is my
Your
shield.
command.
Today, the enemy shall know fear.
Angelus just standing alone right at the front, just taking all the damage. He is getting pretty wailed on though. We need to get right up in here to protect him. If he dies, we are in trouble. Let's equip him to this, attach him to this squad. The boys' hut, listening post. Okay. Boys' hut's almost dead. Down it goes.
The Emperor protects.
War turret dead.
Praise the Emperor.
He's not really helpful there, actually. He needs to be up there with his sword, I reckon. Okay, third company, take over the listening post.
The waterworks are under our control. Now we must start building a base before we hunt down the rest of the orcs.
Okay.
Let us capture these strategic points and establish a base of operations.
Build a HQ.
Build protocol.
Oh, yep. I do like that animation as it flies in to then get built, like kind of unpacked, I guess. It's very cool. So this is Dawn of War, the very first of the series of 3. A fantastic little game, in my opinion. I really enjoy playing them. As I said, it does take a bit of work to get running. I've added a link below to make it a lot easier for you. There's a lot of content in both this original one, the expansions, and then Dawn of War 2, which is probably my favourite series out of a lot of them. I highly recommend giving them a look if you haven't before. Do acknowledge that the gameplay is a little bit slower than perhaps some more modern RTSs, but it's really quite satisfying seeing the roots of a lot of mechanics from things like the Company of Heroes era. And the storyline in these games is really quite compelling and fun, very well voice acted, and it's quite a fun journey. So if you're looking for something to kind of kill a bit of time, Dawn of War is absolutely one of the ones that you should look at.
It is worth me mentioning that it does appear that there will be a revised version of Dawn of War coming out towards the later part of this year. So, with expanded graphics, textures that are improved, and the resolutions match for modern gaming. So that's one worth keeping an eye out in case you're not willing to pick up the older version of this game at the moment.
This has been Sidequest Gaming. As always, thank you for spending the time with me. We're exploring some of the games coming up with the Festival of Skulls. Links are below. Please like, subscribe if you're enjoying the content. If you've got any suggestions of what I should cover or what you'd like to see me change, please put them in a comment below. As always, have an amazing day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.